Welcome to the Nagual Zone. My name is Anam. Today I've got something very interesting for you. It's a topic that I was requested to make a video on by one of the subscribers, one of the listeners. And the topic, it can be a very obscure topic in the Toltec system. And the topic is losing the human form. Losing the human form. I haven't met anyone who's really given it much thought because it's one of the pillars of the Toltec system, at the same time being one of the most obscure areas of knowledge. Losing the human form, I'll tell you what it means in the Toltec system, and you probably may not have come across even anyone talking in detail about it. So I'll try to do my best today to give you guys an overview of this very involved topic. There's another topic, again, it sort of gets lost in the realm of esoteric stuff in the Toltec system, and that topic is the mold of man. Losing the human form and the mold of man are very, very interlinked. Mold of man I'll do another video on. Today let's focus on losing the human form. In the East, in the Eastern traditions, it's understood as enlightenment. Enlightenment. So you'll have all these people going to gurus and gurus peddling their products. That's really what it is, self-employment, self-employed business. These gurus will, have devotees, and you know how it all works. At least you've seen it. And it's very toxic. It's there. No good ever comes of that, really, ever. Not in one instance. So as an apprentice, as a Toltec enthusiast, stay away from that stuff. It will waste your time. What you want to focus on is losing the human form. So in the East, that's where it ends. They think there's an impression that once I attain enlightenment, some kind of grand cosmic consciousness or oneness with the universe, some bullshit like that, then that's where it ends. I have arrived, that's where it ends. I have now attained I have bloomed to my full capacity, right? And so these people who they become gurus because they've had a little bit of a glimpse are treated as such, as the pinnacle, as the sort of the top tier of a human being a human being. The Toltec system, on the other hand, requires this of the warrior as basic necessity. It's kind of like if you have a 10-year syllabus. If I designed a 10-year syllabus of the Toltec system, comprehensive, you study and you come and there's a course and all that. That comes year one. Year one, you don't get to go beyond. You can't access even the most basic things like stalking. Basic things like stalking. You can't access it. You cannot have access to that. You just won't understand what that means. You cannot exercise any measure of controlled folly. It just can't happen unless you've lost your human form. Controlled folly will make no sense. So when people come, they write on Facebook groups and blogs and articles and books. They write such detailed knowledges about, stalking and, all these and I'm like, but you couldn't possibly know that. Anything about that. You may have knowledge about it, but you couldn't possibly know it because I know I can not see, but I can see that you haven't lost your human form yet. So how it's kind of like a culture that exists. Imagine you suddenly arrived at a planet where where there everyone's there's a whole system, and all the armies, they are the soldiers. They've never held a gun in their life. They never picked up a gun and fired it, but they are expert. They consider themselves expert marksmen. Would you? I mean, so if you would just say, but that's not possible. You've got to pick up a gun first, fire it many, many times, go through a whole journey of learning before you can consider yourself a marksman. You need to have. So this is what happens when a trained Toltec looks out and sees the Toltec world in and around him. And most of it baffles me, really, guys. I've got to be honest with you. It baffles me. It amuses me. It is scary. The amount of self-delusion is scary. The amount of self-importance, the amount of self-delusion, really, like just we all love to think we are big shots. We really all just have this compulsive capacity to pretend to ourselves to be better than we really are, to be on higher ground than we really are, to never be truly honest, to never really drill down into the depths and become brutally honest with ourselves. Where am I really at? Right? Have I just taken on stuff that has nothing to do with my personal experience or training? Do I talk like I know things, whereas someone actually qualified comes along, they would blow my house of cards down completely, and all I would be a machine trying to defend its empty fortress. You don't want to be that person. You want to start from scratch, zero yourself. Empty your teacup and allow knowledge to fill it with the correct amount and the correct kind of tea. So please, if you're watching this and you haven't had any, you will know if you have lost your human form. You will know it. There's no way to be deluded about. There is plenty of people deluded about that, but there's no way to discount the real event when that happens, when you lose it's a major event in someone's life. Major, probably everything else dwarfs, against that. And so if you think you know all about stalking, and dreaming is different because dreaming does not require you to have lost your human form. But the way I train apprentices, the way I train my people, is I require them to, there's a progression, guys. I've done videos on this before. There's a specific progression to the Toltec system. My benefactors were adamant that I learn the old way, the proper way. Carlos Castaneda was not taught in the old way. Don Juan had to really improvise a lot, and it was a big mishmash of things that were given to him because of the way he was, and it was all very bespoke to him. Now he ends up writing all these books that now the whole world thinks that's the way to do it. Not at all. Even Carlos Castaneda did not realize, because he was so busy feeling special. He didn't realize that it was all very bespoke just for him. It's not an actual system that he was handed down. It was a body of knowledge. So there is a system to it, and it's like Lego blocks. If you just put things together and expect it to look like an aeroplane, it's not going to happen. You can pretend that it looks like an aeroplane, but to someone who is a qualified pilot who actually flies aeroplanes, real aeroplanes, they'll come and look at your Lego block thing and they'll go, well, that looks nothing like an aeroplane. Sorry to burst your bubble. So it's my effort to try and get you guys to really understand a lot of the idea of losing the human form must first be stripped of every romantic, every esoteric, every unpragmatic, non-sober aspect. It must be stripped of all of that, and you must infuse that area of the Toltec side of things with pragmatism, with sobriety. You can't approach it with any measure of rose-tinted glasses or thinking you know something, or it's just not gonna work. It's not gonna work. The foundation, the very foundation of losing the human form is inner silence. So what you are to focus on, what I tell my apprentices to focus on, is you losing your human form is inevitable. As you lose your human form, it will be unmistakable when that happens in your life, and it's a huge event. It's kind of a death. It's a huge event. It's a death that you live on after. And self-importance does not die, by the way. Something else dies. Something that is associated with identifying itself with the tonal. So that your awareness, before losing the human form, your awareness is trapped and married and intertwined with the tonal completely. So any idea of losing the human form, enlightenment, all these kind of things, you will only have access to them in the tonal. But the actual experience of these things lies outside the tonal, in the Nagual, right? So then it creates a dichotomy, and you have clowns running around writing books and blogs and really convincing and really convinced that they have a kind of a handle on this stuff, and they don't. They really just don't. So you've got to really just knuckle down, guys, and increase your inner silence bank balance. That's what I call it. So imagine that your inner silence is a currency that you deposit into the balance of your bank, which is your awareness. So your bank is your awareness, and the currency is inner silence. Every day, how much are you depositing in your bank? Simply focus on that. A time will come when mysterious forces will activate within you, and they will overcome the mysterious forces that are arrayed against you. They will overcome them and break their back permanently. And your awareness will dissociate permanently from everything tonal. And your awareness will reside and not reside, but acknowledge its existence in the Nagual. It will end up acknowledging its own, it will be clear to see. You can't have any sense of seeing before that. You can't have any measure of stalking before that. Authentic. I mean all this in authentic sense, honest sense. And you cannot, just not possible to live with controlled folly. Can't happen. I hope this gives you, it's a very, let me know in the comments if you want me to explain more. I can talk about till kingdom come about this, and there's so much talk about the losing the human form. So if I haven't quite been satisfactory in my session now, let me know in the comments. Ask me some questions, because that then helps me to bounce off a little bit better, instead of just taking such a big topic like that and then trying to sort of fish for things to talk about. So let me know if this has left you more confused than ever. Then let me know. I'll do another video and try and really clarify that. Meanwhile, just really focus on accruing inner silence, accumulating inner silence. And you don't accumulate inner silence really. What you do is you build it up. It's already there within you. You start taking away the distractions. You start focusing on, that's the true approach, guys. You don't focus on the inner silence. That's like the fish focusing on water. It makes no sense, right? What you do is, what I teach my apprentices is, you focus on what is distracting you from the inner silence at any given moment. And are you choosing that distraction consciously and strategically, or are you just getting distracted out of compulsive and unwavering habit and the relentless pressure of the foreign installation? I hope this has clarified things for you guys a little bit. Do let me know. I will do another video. I'm happy to do 100 videos, but I need you guys to get involved with me. Tell me, what did this work for you or not? Follow, subscribe, hit like, comment, bounce it back at me, so that I can get, I can reorient and present things in a way that makes more sense. Things which are very it's going to take a long time for someone to really just even start to understand them properly. All right, guys, walk in freedom, and I'll see you in the next video.